a good packaging. Okay, so the tape is cut, which it should be, because this is actually an open box purchase for the 150s. And so this is going to be my backup lapel mic. And you may can hear the thunder and lightning in the background. We got it storming in Louisiana today. Bag of goodies. And the pièce de résistance. Pretty good accent, huh? So, don't see any life, but it is supposed to be an... okay, so that is a good sign. It's got the plastic shields. So what these are non-conductive shields under each of the items in the case, which keeps it from making contact. And what this does is, I mean, they know that these batteries can go bad. And they have, usually the LiPo batteries have a little resistor or fuse built into the charge or the battery itself, which is a safety. And if it discharges too low, it blows and it's no good anymore. You can't charge it anymore because it's physically disconnected. Or overcharge it, same thing, it blows and you can't charge it anymore and the battery's gone. And so they'll give an initial charge to all these items. They normally won't charge them fully, but just partially. And then put these shields in place, put the items on top so that they don't, these batteries maintain without sucking this down. If it gets jostled around or the lid kind of moves and slightly opens or whatever, it starts charging again. And it's just all different kind of things that can cause problems. Everything seems to be in pretty good shape. So I believe it is actually an open box setup. Let's disconnect one of these that I am in the process of charging to see what's what. And plug her in. 2.6, it is charging. It's 2.6 watts, 1/2 amp, 5.2 volts, and it's kind of fluctuating lower, higher. I don't see that. You see something here. That clip appears to be broken. Just get a document picture. I don't know if they can be repaired or not. We'll have to look at it. So anyway, this doesn't seem to be coming on. Let me do a quick little reset just to make sure that that's all good. Okay. So there, I did the 20 Mississippi count. So let's give it a little bit. And that goes to that other one. Don't see anything. So we're going to let this charge for a minute, and we're going to look at the accessories, and then we will see if that'll pick up and start going, because it may have been so completely discharged that it may not be any good. That is a TRR cable, the USB-C to A cable, two lapel mics. So there's a what is that? XTR to 1/4 inch adapter, and oh no, that's one lapel mic, and that's one lapel mic. Okay. And then these are the fluffies to go on, or dead cats, or whatever they call them. So we're just going to kind of leave this rolling to see if these pick up and start charging. I know I do see charge activity on the power supply, 5.2 volts, half amp, 2.6 watts. So it's drawing, but I'm not sure if this right here is pulling. I need to pull these out. Because see, it shows 0 at the moment. So the charger may not be charging. Let's try the little reset on the charger. Unplug it. $30 Mississippi. So we did the Mississippi thing. I've got a light on the front. Now it's green. Now the case is charging. So the case is charging. It dropped out. There's 0 volts, 0 amps, 0 watts. See, that item is not charging. So the receiver is not taking a charge. That transmitter is actually taking a charge. That transmitter is taking a charge. And the box is not charging. The box isn't charging, and the receiver is not charging. So, I'm going to contact the seller, just let them know what's going on. And then I'm going to let this stuff set for a while. I think I'm going to let it set for a while without this in there and just see if the box actually picks up and starts charging. And so let me try the reset with the power plugged in, just because I have done that. We got a green light on the front again, and we're not showing a charge. So here's one thing that I have noticed. So right now I have it plugged into, because this does both ways, I've got it plugged into a QC 3.0 through the USB-A plug. And a lot of times I'll plug it in USB-C in a PD100 plug and plug it in, and it charges. And once it gets a good charge, then I have to go back to the other one. So let's see. Okay, so I'm getting a blink on and off. I'm getting that on some of the other cases as well. And I haven't really tried to push one to charge to see if it'll actually pick up a charge. See, so that's blinking on and off, and this is alternating, flashing green when this, with this light right here flashing on and off, which is a pulse of a charge. So I don't know if the battery's shot or what, but let me contact the seller and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've told y'all I'm a goober. So this is going to prove I'm a goober. If you have a YouTube channel, if you have a bunch of hard drives you use to back up videos when you're done because the hard drive on your computer is too small, if you have to partition and format those hard drives in an external drive unit on your editing computer, if you happen to plug your camera into your computer with all of your current videos on it while you are in Windows partitioning and formatting software, and happen to delete the partition on your camera, you will lose all of those videos. I'm just saying, I'm throwing that out there out of the blue. There's no real reason for me to be saying that. I just throwing it out there just so you'll know. I'd hate for somebody to have a rude surprise to lose many hours of video. Just saying. So this is going to be kind of one of my old school unboxing slash whatever. But this stuff right here is additions to the channel and some projects that I'm working on. So yeah, all right. So I bought on eBay like 5 of these Hollyland charging boxes that are parts of repair. So I'm kind of figuring, you know, I'm getting a little cocky. Think I can fix them because I've got some other ones that I fixed, kind of fixed, and then kind of unfixed. So anyway, and I've got a bunch of these Hollyland mic units that I don't have chargers. So what I'm probably going to do to try to generate a little bit of revenue for the channel is get these working, hopefully get wireless microphone setups in them, and then sell them on eBay. As, I don't know, refurbished, repaired by user, or whatever it comes out to. So there's a little bit of damage to that there. So let's see what we got. These were sold for parts of repair as is. No, in no intents as working. And they're supposed to all have a receiver in them. Yeah, see, there's a receiver in here, and the deal's still on it. So potentially the battery may still be good in this. See, this one's nothing. And I'm going to try, see, there's another receiver. And by the way, the battery in these boxes is an 18650, which I have several of. And so it may come down to just replacing the battery in the box, and I've got a good charging box. Yep, so each one has a transmitter, and each transmitter, two of these transmitters actually have the little sticky cover still on them. So they, who knows? So we're just going to plug in and see what response we get. We got a green light. I'm going to put these off to the side. And this is going to kind of sort of be even a mock-up repair type deal. Let's see, that's showing is completely dead. It does show that the case is showing to be charged with that green light, but it doesn't seem to be recharging the receiver. So let me show you a trick. Hopefully it'll work, and you can see I'm not just making stuff up. But hopefully we can show you a quick fix on these. I think this is a sharper point. You want to be careful. You don't want to just take and punch through the little button, because there's a little tiny button in there that you want to push in. And with the case empty, no power supply hooked into it, you want to push that button in and hold it for 30 seconds. So I'm going to count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. That's just what we do in the South. So I'm going to get to counting. And you're probably going to see me hold this in longer than 30 seconds, because 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi always takes me, I don't know. Anyway, let's see. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi, 20 Mississippi, 30 Mississippi. So I don't know if that's going to work, but that would be the first try to potentially repair. Okay, so this transmitter, now it is pulling 1 watt now, 0.2 amps. So it may even be pushing a charge into this. So I've got this one, and I know it is, this is already fully charged. Now the case is showing to be partially just charged. So the case is not fully charged. So I believe that this just needs to sit and charge, and I will start getting some action out of it. So let me just set this off to the side. And I'll do this maybe throughout the day or this evening, because it's the end of the day, and see what we get. No, again, a green light. Nothing on that. A known good. Okay, so see, this is not charging right now. Let me turn it completely off to prove a point. So it comes on, it's showing the top green deal is showing the power charge of the case itself. Now it should pop up three slots, but in the center it show the charge of this part of the unit. That top battery is the case itself. So it's not charging. Turn that back off, and we're going to do the Mississippi thing again, and we're going to see if this one starts charging. 10 Mississippi. $20 Mississippi. $30 Mississippi. Okay, so that gives us, oh, that's the potentially bad one. Put it back in here. Oops, see? So now it started charging, showing the charge level of this. Now let's turn it off, drop it in there. So it charges for a second and then it stops. So there could be potential problems with this case. I think it just needs to charge and then we'll see what's what. I think that other case is going to be perfectly good. Potentially the receiver as well. So I think I'm going to end up with a pretty decent combination of what and what here. So we're just going to set that off to the side. So we don't get anything on this. It's not showing light, but it is showing. See, the battery is very much depleted on this one. So it is showing it's taking a charge. So let's see what it shows. I don't know, it may not even have enough charge to even register. Okay, so this one is taking a charge, but I don't know if it may not be any good. We'll just have to wait and see. Unless this case is charged. I don't know if it charges the case first and then the device is in it, but it does have to, the case does need to be charged. So plug this one in. Again, a green light. Nothing there. And we're going to pop this one in. Okay, so this one is charging. It's showing 1 watt, 0.2 amps. And you can see that top battery display right there where it says beside case. It's 2 bars. So this case does have a little bit of a charge. And what I'm going to have to do is let me do one quick deal here, because this is another thing that you may have to do to get these working, and that is while charging in the case, take in there, you can barely see the resets hole in the side of the receiver. So let me reach up in there and see. This is, I think it's supposed to be 15 seconds, but I do it for 20. Okay, so it did spike up to a higher draw. So I believe, I know this case is taking a charge, and I do see see it's up to 2.6 watts at half amp with this plugged in. So I believe this is taking a charge. So that's another highly potential one. And then here, this one, we got a light again. Nothing. Put that in. And this is charging the case. And it seemed like it stopped. Okay, so this is another one that seems to kind of stop as it goes. Let me unplug it. Okay, so what I need to do is charge these cases. The first thing I need to do is charge these cases. So let me go over some scenarios that you may need to do to try to get this stuff working. Of course, the 18650 in here could be depleted and just needs to be replaced. And you just grab one. See, this one is actually out of one of the boxes. Actually, it's out of this box right here. It blowed a component in this one that I may be able to replace. I just had to check. But this is the battery out of it. And so you can see this is a battery out of a laptop, and it works. Or this one might have come out of one of those little smoke things. But the battery works. And you can see the tops are the same. Now let me show you one that the top is different. So this is one that I bought years ago, and you can see that this is more like a AA battery, and it's a long prong at the end of it. Now the battery itself will work fine, but it won't fit back into the case without a modification because of that little extension on the plus side being stuck out further than it is here, because usually these are welded in series, and this right here would be used in a device like a flashlight or something of that nature. And so you would have that type of a battery. That's like, I'm suspecting this is an 18650. I don't know. Well, I'm not going to try to rip it apart to check, but we're just going to assume that it is. But you can see how the tip is pushed out. It's extended just a little bit further. And so it makes the whole battery just a little bit longer, and it doesn't fit in the back in the case very easily. So find batteries with these same type of tops, and then it's just plugging it in there. Now I would take this insulator off the side of the battery just because that's what I'm going to do whenever. And this battery wasn't charging in the case. I pulled it out and put it in an external charger, and it charged just fine. I had to bump it a few times in that charger. Pull back on it, let it go back again, and the smart charger eventually started charging it. As long as you've got a voltage on these, you can potentially bring them back. And that's what I did on this one. So this is going to be a good replacement for any of these boxes. So if the case is not charging the receiver, potentially your receiver is completely discharged, and it's going to take a while. With these type of batteries, sometimes you may have to charge them for an extended period of time to get them to pick up and start taking a charge. And you just have to set it, let there and charge. And so this case, you don't know which is which. So the first thing you want to try to do is, without power, hit that button and do the reset on this case. All right. Second thing you want to try is plugging the case in and doing the reset. 20 Mississippi. $30 Mississippi. He thought I was just joking with the Mississippi thing. I really do count it. Okay, so there we have, it's showing a light, but I'm not showing any kind of a voltage draw on the battery charger. So this may be fully charged. So anyway, that would be the first thing you want to try. Then you can take these and hit the reset button on them for 20 seconds. And you can see that this reset button has been punched more than once by the wrong sized implement. But anyway, let's hit the reset button on these. But technically, if it's not charged, then, or taking any kind of a charge, then that's probably your main issue. It's just takes a while for this to finally start registering that something is going on, that is starting to take a charge to bring that battery back. And so you may have to leave it there on the charger for an extended period of time. If you've gotten a charge on this and you're plugging it in here and it doesn't start charging anymore, then you want to take all the devices out, put the one device in, and while it's in there, you can barely get to that reset button and you'll press it for 20 seconds while it's in the device. So hitting the reset on this will kill, so the battery is always connected to the circuit board. And so the reset on this will disconnect the battery and allow the circuitry to drain, which could most likely is what it's doing, is causing the operating system to reload, reboot in this device. And that could be why it stopped charging. Although it's taking a charge, it's not charging the devices in the base. And so the same thing, this may not be recognizing this device, and so it doesn't start charging it whenever you put in there. So you put it in there, and first you'll try to reset it out here, so it'll go back to factory default. That don't work. Put it in the case and try to hit the reset for 20 seconds, and potentially that could bring everything back in line. Now, if it's completely dead, then holding it in here might be the thing. See, now it's taking 2.6 watts at a half an amp, just plugging that in there. So that tells me that receiver is actually taking a charge, and the case is most likely fully charged because it's not taking anything up. Now it's 3.1 watts at a half an amp. See there? There it goes. It comes on. So now you can see, and this right here only took a few seconds for this receiver here to start taking a charge and to basically come up and start showing you something. But potentially it could set for, I've had them set for an hour or 2 hours or even longer before the battery, see it's kind of blinking a little bit because the battery is so low. So I've had a device like this set for a long period of time before it actually brought that battery back and started to take a charge. And so you potentially have that issue. Now with these flashing, the screen flashing and flickering, now most likely what the case is there is that device is the battery is too low to power the OLED display on the device. And so that's most likely what your problem is this device is too low. Potentially it's not taking a charge because the case is too low. So that's several little things that we can do to get these to charging without even having to take anything apart. So to take one of these apart, all you do is lift up these little rubber feet, and there's a screw under each corner. And then you pull this bottom off. There's 2 screws to hold the board in. So one problem I had was these little prongs. They weren't sticking up proud of the bottom of the case. And I don't know how well you can see that, but that was because that board was loose and shifted, and so these pogo pins wasn't sticking up through the bottom. And so the devices wasn't making contact in there to charge. So I fixed that by pulling the bottom off, and repositioning the board like it's supposed to be and tightening those screws up. And then it held the pogo pins up above like it's supposed to, and it started charging just fine. I believe that was this case right here. This was the one that the pogo pins weren't sticking up high enough. And this case is perfectly good. It works perfect. I kind of boogered things up getting it apart because I wasn't smart enough to figure out how to get it apart. And so I may just keep this up as my own personal backup setup there. So this right here is 3.1 watts at 0.6 amps, and it's kind of blinking on and off. So while we're talking here, I'm just going to close. Well, I don't know why they don't want to close. I don't know. So we're just going to let that sit there and see what kind of charge that we can get out of it. And I've got several other things that I've got to go to, and I may break this. What is this? Oh, really? It's another one. Okay. So I ended up buying a bunch of them because, and these has got so much dust on them, they probably sat on somebody's shelf for who knows how long. And see, that's a common theme. One of the other ones had that opened up or a little damage to it. T6899304. That does nothing descriptive, so it's probably somebody just labeled it for their audio video setup. Oh, this is a whole full deal. Now, looks like that transmitter is goobered big time. I say that. See, the screen is off, but it may still have good sound. We'll see. So let's, I'm going to have to unplug this one, which is still flashing in and out, but that's just, we'll figure all that out later. Get that turned off. And let's just see what happens plugging it in. 2.6 watts a half amp. And it shows a green light. And I don't remember what the descriptions and stuff on this was. But this one that kind of blowed up on me, I don't know what happened. But I think I finally got it working. It started taking a charge. And it was like 67 watts. At I don't know how many amps was showing going into it, and it fried I think the voltage regulator in there. So okay, everything is actually coming up. So this is perfectly fine. There's not really anything wrong with this one. Well, let me try to look. Wherever my phone is, and see what the description on this one was, because it seems to be a potentially functioning item. Let's see, this is okay, so this one was sold. Reed HollyLank LARK 150, 2-person clip-on wireless microphone. See that it does it. The one in the listing shows this mic is not damaged. Says for parts are not working, unit cannot power on. We see green light, which is not true. It's working just fine. Let me go back and make sure this is the same one. And it is. Okay, so I sent a notification to the seller of the damage. See, that one's showing good. This one's showing battery is very low. So potentially, I don't know, it may not end up charging back. Let me, oh, that's, hold on. So I don't know, it's not showing the actual charge and it's not taking a charge. So it may not, that may be the case. It may, that may not be taking a charge. So let's get all this to turn off. Now the lights are much brighter and obvious with these. So what we're going to start off with is resetting the case. Pogo pins are sticking up like they're supposed to. So let's reset the case. $20. 30. So let's see if that changes and it charges. Okay, so it doesn't charge without being plugged in because I think the case is completely discharged. Okay, so I'm not getting a light or anything. Plug doesn't seem to be loose or anything like that. Oh, I just seen a light flash on. Okay, so the light is blinking. So that tells me, I call it pulsing the battery. The charger, it may just be hitting it with a little bit of volts. And this may end up coming up. Let's see. Let me get a higher end cable. We're just going to put this okay, so now the case is taking 6.7 watts, 1.3 amps. And so the case is actually taking a charge now. Let's plug this in there. And that's charging. So everything is charging now. It's taking 8.8 watts at 1.7 amps. At 5.2, all of these pull 5.2 volts. So everything is charging on this case. So this case is perfectly fine. It just, the case needed to be reset, and it looks like nothing else really needed to be reset. Let's check the version. .0.4.4. So the version on this is fine. So this was actually sold as for parts only, but is fully functioning. But it does have damage that was not there. It was a different one showing in the ad. So only testing will tell if these transmitters are working working worth a flip. So we're just going to set this off to the side and let it charge in place of the other one. And we'll be right back with the next box. Your time is very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.